World building exists at the intersection of design, technology, and storytelling. So my interest is in how there's an integration between framing the narrative within an environment and the way characters react to that environment and the way that characters drive the environment. We're all used to the idea of a linear narrative. World building really starts with the non-linear, with the idea that everything has an influence on everything else. The Minority Report had this very simple starting point, that it was the world of the future. We were calling it 2050. We knew we were in Washington, D.C., but fundamentally the story is about loss of civil liberty. And our idea, or the brief was to create a world that looked utopian, that looked as if it was working well, that looked as if it was a good idea to have a murder-free society. And then halfway through the film, Steven Spielberg can pull the rug out from under the audience and say, you know what, the loss of civil liberty is not worth the apparent advantage of a murder-free society. But so my job as a designer was to create a compelling vision of a world that the audience would want to live in and lull them into this sort of sense of false security, but make them really believe in this world, that it wasn't science fiction, that it was future reality, and that they could really believe that these kind of things could exist. And we did deep investigation into innovation labs and research spaces and academics and domain experts who are all looking 10 or 15 or 20 years in the future. And we gathered those experts together and we started really going deeply into the way the future might evolve in all sorts of aspects. You know, what does the future of cars looks like? What does the future of communication look like? Shopping, what does media look like, is holography possible? All of these kind of things were investigated on a kind of scientific research level rather than just assuming this was fantasy.
Tonight, I don't want you to merely imagine a flying whale. I want you to experience it. Sight, sound, all of it.
Virtual reality is a fully immersive space and it has a very immediate emotional engagement with the audience. And so there is certainly huge possibilities in game and in different kinds of narrative that could be entertainment. But in augmented reality, where you're really laying a new sort of virtual set of elements and artifacts over the real world, that starts changing into something that looks like a completely new way of looking at education, a completely new way of looking at the social space, at investigating and prototyping the future, at how we navigate, how we communicate. You know, I don't think the cell phone is going to survive it. I don't think the computer is going to survive it. I think those things are going to change in ways we can't imagine.